Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Star Wars New Canon Book Club Mandalorian post-show Smackdown. Smackdown? That's
Post-show
not the right word.
Smackdown! We're smacking those bounties down with a fucking pronged electric taser. We're sending that shit right back down to the bottom of the ocean.
Or a lake. I mean, the oceans don't freeze over, right? It's a lake.
That's right. Well, I don't know. You don't know how cold that planet is.
Who knows? Yeah.
You're right. Things work a little differently in the old Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
So we're going to make a valiant effort after every one of these episodes to join together for you and have a discussion about everything in the moment. We haven't even had time to really talk to each other about this stuff.
I just
We're just
watched it.
Going at it.
I just watched it.
Same. I literally just watched it moments ago.
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited to talk with my two Star Wars buds. It's Jesse here, and over there is Mr. Michael Davis.
That's me.
And Mr. Alex Faciani.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Okay, let's jump into The Mandalorian.
I'm fucking ready. You want to just go right through, or you want to like give some impressions? How do we want to start?
Well, you know what? I think what we should do before we start talking about the actual show is give some sort of context and backstory. For those of you who have not seen The Mandalorian yet, or you have and you're like, I have questions. The show takes place, as far as I'm aware, 5 years after the Battle of Endor, and it is in the sort of aftermath-ish book range. So if you follow the book club, you know that the Aftermath series takes place 1 year after, and then it basically sets up the fact that this world that we now, or universe that we now exist in, is one where even though the Republic or the Alliance has defeated the Empire, they're actually not really doing that great in reestablishing order. It's kind of chaos. Some people don't want to have the Republic around. Some people love the Empire.
Practically, for the Mandalorian, that comes across really well in that he has to get paid in money, and it's like Carl Weathers is like, have these Republic credits, and he's like,
Imperial.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's same shit.
I mean, actually, the complete opposite.
It's the same exact problem. It's the same problem. He's like, can you give me any other type of money besides this made-up money from the like dead king that just was? Here's some fucking Tide Pods from Mon Calamari.
Yeah.
But it's half the price.
And that's kind of the idea of this world, is that,
I mean, deadass, it's a fucking cowboy situation. There's no leadership.
Sure.
Wild West. Everybody could kill anybody. It's rough out here vibes. I love that.
Yeah, it's tight.
it takes place, again, in between 6 and 7, for those of you who are like just the movie fans. And during a period where things are wild. And I guess people going into episode 7 were kind of like, how can there be a resistance and a republic and a first order? Because things are out of control. Like, there is no, the good guys won and everything's okay. Like, things are not all right in the galaxy as a whole. There are many, many factions, many people doing things. It's a little out of control.
This is like even during when the Republic was still in its heyday, they had tons of trouble keeping law on the outskirts, and it was to the Empire's credit, one thing that they did do effectively is like at least sort of enforce.
Davis.
I'm not saying like I approve of it. You know, they
To the Empire's credit, they made sure those Wookiees were in line. Like,
To the
whoa,
Empire's
like,
credits, aliens really are quite weird. Yeah.
no, but it's too big to properly rule.
Which I love.
Yeah, that's where you get all the grimy stuff.
And that's where our story takes place, is in the Outer Rim, in a grimy post-Empire galaxy where it's everyone for themselves.
Also, it's 4 years after the Battle of Jakku as well.
Yeah, for those of you who do not know, Jakku, besides being the place where Rey's from, in the Battlefront series and the Aftermath books, it's basically made clear that the Empire had one final stand at the planet Jakku. It was this crazy-ass battle. Almost all of the Imperial forces were destroyed.
Yeah, all that crap in the movie, that's those ships.
Yeah. And plot twist, it was all like a crazy Emperor setup plot. And he was like,
always
take them
is.
all out. I don't give a shit.
But that's where we're at. There's no first order. There's nothing. There's no one in charge. I mean, from the very first time the goddamn door opens, it's, yo, this is just a cowboy. It's dead ass a Western. Like,
Absolutely.
Even the name of the show, The Mandalorian.
Characters in this show, just like characters in old Westerns, are the gunslinger and the client.
Yeah.
And the cow. They don't have names. And in this show, they do the exact same thing.
So the first place we're at is a snowy place, and there's this guy getting bullied by these guys, and they're like, we're gonna eat you, motherfucker. And the dude is, first of all, he's something called a mithril.
He's Horatio Sands is who he is.
Yeah, he looks like a catfish, man. He looks like the Shape of Water if Doritos were introduced to his people. Before
100% accurate.
Yeah.
Yes, completely.
It's like the original Cool Ranch.
Yeah, he's like extremely colorful for a Star Wars alien. I thought that was really interesting. But basically, they're like, we're gonna eat you and shit. And then the Mandalorian comes in and tries to order a drink, and they're like, get the fuck out of here. Who are you? And then he just beats everybody's ass, and the guy's like, oh my god, thank you so much for saving me. They were gonna totally eat me. And then he's like, boom. He just puts down the...
Were they gonna eat him, or were they gonna cut out his glands and sell his glands?
They were gonna sell his glands to other things that were gonna eat him.
Were they? Like, why are you obsessed with them eating this man?
He looks delicious, okay? He's fucking tasty looking. He's a catfish. That's my favorite fish.
Happening.
Fucking
don't
starving.
think anyone was gonna eat him.
Starving. Shit. What? What do you want from me? He looks delicious.
Yeah, there was a cool little bit too where the Quarren tries to run away, and he does his cool little grappling hook lasso. He pulls him in. The guy pulls out a blaster and like hits him. So he just like shoots the door closed and cuts him in half.
And he did it classy too, TV 50s classy, where they like cut away from the door, so you just hear it, and you're like, oh!
You just see like an out
Legs.
of frame leg or out of focus leg.
Basically, the Mandalorian takes the dude. He's like, no, the bounty's for you. The guy's like, oh my god. And so he calls like an Uber, like a Kubaz with a flute. It's like, and then a R2 unit pulls up and is like, I am your Uber. And then he's like, no droids in the Uber. He's like, okay, bye. And then the other guy comes up, and it's fucking Brian Posehn from Mr. Show.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in this.
I'm
like,
in Star Wars, finally. They drop him off at the ship. The cab driver's like, see you later. By the way, don't walk on the ice. Oh, shit. And then he gets eaten by one of these walrus.
Immediately killed.
Yeah. And so then you get this little action sequence where the thing is hanging on, and they're like, oh my god, this thing's gonna kill us. So then Mandalorian goes and gets his Christmas
Star Wars
Christmas special
thing, and Christmas special shocks it.
He gets the Mandalorian mega taser and takes that dude down. Basically, they get off. That thing electrifies that thing's whole body, and then they're in this like sort of like old like Clone Wars looking ship. The bounty hunter's like, hey, what's up? Just so you know, I gotta piss. It's super weird. I'm annoying. And
yeah, he keeps doing the whole, I gotta evacuate into
annoying
your
prisoner
porthole.
vibes, yeah.
I love Horatio Sands, but this part was the weakest part of the whole episode to me, because everybody else is written basically like a Star Wars character, and then he was written like a not
like a 90s sitcom character, yeah.
I understand what the scene was doing, and it was cool because you got to like see how he lives in his ship and his like armory, and that apparently the new life hack for being a bounty hunter is to carbonite after the one time Vader did it. Yeah.
If you think about it, carbonite is a great idea. I love the idea that these guys are flying around with a closet full of dudes. So basically the guy's snooping around pretending to be taking a shit, and he finds the carbonite, a bunch of dudes in carbonite. Mandalorian shows up behind him and is like, guess what, bitch, you're getting the carbonite too. Freezes him in the carbonite, and then we jump over to, I don't know where any of these places are, by the way. They do not have any titles. It's very cool.
Oh yeah, I think the idea is it doesn't matter where they're at.
Quickly before he gets thrown into the carbonite thing, though, he does make a little Life Day reference, like he was trying to get back and at least see his like kids or whatever before Life Day.
They really want to underline the fact that the Star Wars Christmas special does exist. So we're on an urban planet. This time looks like Jeddah City vibes, and you get another sort of like nicer bar, like a little bit more like people are actually in this bar, and you meet Carl Weathers for the first time, who is out. He's just playing himself.
Greef
Karga,
I believe his name.
He's just playing himself. Carl Weathers in space, except he speaks Huttese in space, and he's the guy who tries to pay the Mandalorian in Imperial credits and then pays with squid Tide Pods, and then
it's just what they are, 100%.
He literally takes.
I do have a question for you guys on character reasoning. So the Mandalorian goes in, he sits down, he's like, yo, here's all these trackers or whatever the hell he puts on the table. I'm not sure what they called them.
Fobs?
But
bounty pucks.
Beep, beep, beep,
and so he puts them down, and then he's like, okay, I did this. They're all on the cruiser. Like, you can go get them. And he's like, okay, here's Imperial credits. And he's like, Imperial credits? No one uses Imperial credits anymore. And he's like, well, you know what? Take it or leave it. And they, do the haggle thing.
He does say they still sell.
Sure.
He was trying to upsell him on like these. They still work even though because he's like, haven't you heard the Empire's out or something like that? I forget the exact.
But then when he's like, okay, here I can give you these Quarren Tide Pods or whatever the hell they
He
are.
literally takes half.
He says, yeah, I'll take. He's like, but I can only pay you in half. He's like, okay, and he doesn't take the Imperial credits. He only takes the half that he got. So character-wise, what is going on with this dude that he is only taking half of the credits?
I think he just.
My assumption is they're just trying to show morality.
For story writing purposes, it makes sense that he's like, oh, we're establishing his good characterness. But what I don't understand is the motivation behind it, because
I think it's
up
fake.
until that point, he's like cooling people immediately, right? And he's very cold.
I don't think he's good.
I agree. I definitely think there's something we're going to find out about him as a character, but I like that we got this little thing where I brought you these bounties, and I'm only going to take half for them. Is it because
I just think
that when he eventually goes and hands it over, he doesn't want to go back and hand over Imperial credits to his clan?
Yeah, that's
maybe
exactly
it's that
right.
simple. I don't know.
It's just not worth it. It's bullshit money. So in return, when he asks for the new bounties, he's like, I got shit. And he's like, what do you mean you got shit? He's like, you are the best. You kill every bounty before anybody else has a chance to get any bounties from the guild. You're a dick. So,
Well, no, because he brought them all back in Carbonite.
right.
I think I don't think he kills. I think the idea is he's just too good. And
What I
efficient.
mean is he just knocks out all the bounties before anybody else has a chance. So he's like, all right, fine. I got one, but it's low-key shady. You got to go meet this guy. So much more money, but it's not a good job. He goes to this other like weird facility that has the same robot guard as Jabba's palace, which is hilarious.
Little eye boy.
So they go in. It's weird. I thought they were zombies at first. How dirty and shitty they were, and how weird they were moving.
Oh, you thought they were going to be like the undead troopers?
I really was like, oh god, no.
Those zombie trooper guys?
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was a cool way to show the stormtroopers they're dirty. They're like they're not the bee's knees anymore.
Yeah.
And they're jumpy because they're on their back foot.
Yeah, and also they're in like a crappy warehouse.
Yeah.
And that like desk that I'm sure at one point this Imperial guy had an amazing desk and an amazing view of some place, and now he's in a warehouse somewhere.
And he has Beskar steel, which I have not heard of that.
It's all over the
until
place. It's
now.
all over the place.
Is it in the old canon?
Beskar it's the metal that makes it so that Mandalorian armor can deflect blaster fire.
Okay.
Basically.
And like if a Jedi if you just barely get touched, you don't get lightsabered either. If you get a glance.
It's like cortosis, and that it's like a little lightsaber resistant.
Yeah. So this guy's the client. He seems to be what they seem to be presenting him as is ex-Imperial high-ranking officer who's kind of evolved into some kind of underworld secrets guy, some kind of shady guy.
I don't know because he's got a weird scientist guy with him.
That's the other thing.
He's doing something weird, but so basically the scientist comes in.
Dr. Pershing.
It's like a Mexican standoff all of a sudden.
Tatooine standoff.
Whatever. The Mandalorian has no fear that he's in any danger at all.
Yeah, because the guy's like, we got him 4-1 or whatever, and he's like, I like those odds. God.
They put their weapons down. Herzog's being super shady. Werner Herzog has never seen Star Wars, does not know who Jon Favreau is, doesn't know anything.
But has seen the Kardashians, apparently.
Yeah, but he's slaughtering it. He does a great job in this. I loved him. And he's like, I need you to get this thing. We can't tell you anything about him. All we have is the little fob, and it's just going to take you to him. And we can tell you that he's 50 years old, and that's all we can tell you. So go figure it out. I thought you were the best. You're a Mandalorian. You should figure this out. And then he's like, what do you got to give me? And he's like, boom, Beskar steel. So the armorer, who is this awesome Destiny.
Yeah, she does. She has the fur and everything. Yeah.
That was my first read. I'm like, Destiny cross Star Wars, and it was so cool.
The whole look of the show,
I love this scene. I love this. Oh my
But let's talk about this transition though. So he leaves with the 1 ingot of Beskar steel stamped.
And they
with
do mention it that he wants him alive, but he's like, I know that the practicalities of the job, so there will.
And
be
the
like
scientist is just like, I didn't agree to that. And so we transition into a scene where he returns to his clan? Question mark.
I think it's a forge for Mandalorians.
It definitely is a place where a bunch of Mandalorians hang out. There are a bunch of kids and I think little baby Mandalore helmets running around. And he goes and she's forging some badass, looks like pauldrons, plate armor, stuff like that.
Love this shit.
He goes, presents his earnings to her. And she's like, yo, first off, thanks for this steel. It's going to make some people happy. But I'm going to make you 1 pauldron with that, which is fine and dandy. But she asks him several things that I was like, the conversation they have, again, little tidbits I'm like, ooh, wait. She mentions, one, have you found your sigil symbol?
Yeah, your signet.
Yeah, your signet. Have you found that yet? And she's like, it'll be presented to you when the time comes. So that's obviously a story beat, but also more importantly, to me, if Sabine as a kid has freaking symbols and stuff all over her, I feel like this is new to him. Not new. I think he might be only at this for a few years. He only has his helmet, which is new. Everything else is old. And then
they basically explain what happened to him in this scene, pretty much.
Sure, they show that, but they show him as a kid being orphaned. I assume that's what they're showing.
What he says is he was a foundling. So she's like, in addition to this being your pauldron, this thing is going to make a bunch of new foundlings, which I assume means that she's going to use the leftover steel to like craft
armor for the kids
to learn.
Yeah.
And then it shows him like getting bodied by the separatists or something. I don't know what it is. He might not, I don't know.
Based on how young he is and the timeline, that has to be Clone Wars.
I mean, it's got to be the separatist murder situation that happened on Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
So he takes the bounty, and if you told me that in 2019 I would be streaming a Star Wars TV show into my house starring Nick Nolte as an Ugnaught.
Was that actually Nick Nolte? Because I refer to him as the Nick Nolte-ass alien.
He's Nick Nolte. It's actually him.
It's literally okay.
It's Wheeler. Yeah. So there's this guy. He's an Ugnaught. He rolls up. Fucking the Mandalorian almost gets bodied by two one-seater dewbacks that are called blurgs.
Big ass teeth.
Yeah.
They bite his man. He was like gonna flamethrow it too. It's cool.
But it was cool because when the blurg bit his wrist and took him out, it fired his flamethrower everywhere. So he was like getting bit by this blurg and his fire was going everywhere. But then this dude, this Ugnaught, comes and takes out the blurgs where he gets trampled by basically horses.
Yeah, this scene kind of felt, this one's for the kids.
Yes, I mean, it's a Filoni, so we don't,
But I also think it's there to show you that
It's a Filoni.
Felonious monk.
He's a badass, but he's not there yet. He takes a couple hits from, and other stuff.
That's why I think that he has a previous life. Is because he's not great at what he's doing. He's like on his way to being great, and I'm just curious what that previous life could be.
I also think it's a big question mark. I do believe that the big thing is that he's a Mandalorian kid, then he got orphaned, became a foundling, and then there's a huge chunk of missing time where he did some stuff with the Empire, and that's what we're gonna find out.
He probably fought a bunch and stuff. Anyway, so he's like, yo, I'll help you. You're gonna need me to help you get to this place. I don't want any money. I just give me the blurg that we like get for you afterwards.
Give me one of them blurgs.
He's like, why are you helping me? And he's like, I just want these guys out of here. There's so many people that are coming to try and kill this guy or whatever that
and it's causing trouble.
Fucking up the whole situation. So I just want you out of here. But first, you need to learn how to ride a blurg. And so there's this goofy ass horse riding scene.
This scene didn't quite do it for me either. I don't know. The rest
I
of it's so
actually
good
enjoy that we are watching a Star Wars where they can take the time to have a learn to ride a blurg scene.
Yo, yeah, TV is like a whole other world of Star Wars.
I love it. I know it's ridiculous. I know it's like a very silly for the kids scene, but the fact that we're watching a Star Wars that's live action, that's good, that has moments where you can pause and be like, he's got to learn to ride one.
Absolutely.
I think that's fun.
Anyway, they go into the town.
He's watching on the ridge. I feel like it's a little more like a fortress than like a town.
It looks like a little like rancho. Like it looks a little.
Actually, it looks like that film set they use in every Western ever.
Yeah.
Like in Westworld they have it, in Tombstone, that little like courtyard and buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But a Star Wars.
it looks sort of like a compound with a mansion or some sort of villa attached to
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
And he's watching from a ridge, and he scopes out the fact that there's a bunch of various guys there, and then he notices they all stand up, and walking in is an IG unit.
Yeah, and it's Taika Waititi, and he, with as much tact as a murder droid can, demands the bounty.
He cites like legal codes and stuff as he's blowing them away. It's very cute. It was great. It was a great scene. He keeps trying to blow himself up because he thinks they're gonna die, and he's like, "Stop trying to blow yourself up!" Got the whole comedy bit of the action sequence. And then eventually,
That was actually a great comedy bit.
It's great.
Just-
Like a chest thermal detonator.
very Star Wars, very good Indiana Jones type like nonsense happening during the fighting. And then all of a sudden, Mandalorian just jumps out and he's like, "Hold on, I got this." IG-11 takes a couple bolts and just goes the fuck down. And it gives Mandalorian enough time to jump onto like a minigun, basically commandeer it, and then he has plot armor for like 5 seconds while he...
Yeah, they brought out the gun, the turret gun, when they got him pinned.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the maneuver was be a distraction. I'll do some badass stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't get hit by any lasers or whatever, but he kills everyone. But it doesn't matter that he doesn't get hit because they show earlier that he can take a couple laser blasts. It's no big deal. He kills everyone. The IG unit and them, they're like, we'll split the bounty. They go in to see what the hell the deal is. They ace 1 or 2 more guys. They find the thing that the fob is. It's like a little crib. It opens. It's dead ass a baby Yoda, which if you don't know, nobody knows Yoda's species name. Yoda's 900 years old. The only alien that we know of who's older than Yoda is Maz Kanata. Yoda's old. There's Yaddle, and then there's the one from Knights of the Old Republic, but I don't even know of any other ones. And maybe that Lollipop Guild guy who like kind of looks like Yoda from the Clone Wars is related to Yoda.
No. No.
But we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know for sure. But yeah, it's a little baby Yoda. IG-11 is like, I'm here to kill this thing, which is weird because it doesn't seem like he was sent here by the same people that...
Oh, this is intentional. So I think it sounds like he's there on official business, and official business is to kill it, whereas Nazi or Imperial boys want it alive because he's a doctor. Like, there's some nefarious shit.
And that's basically it. And then the last thing that happens is IG-11 is about to ace this baby Yoda, and they do the classic thing where you hear the gunshot and you think he kills the baby Yoda, and I was like, oh fuck, they just killed the baby Yoda. But they didn't. And actually what happened was that the Mandalorian bopped IG-11 right through the skull dome and left him. I don't think he's out of the show, but he's a robot.
I think that this show is now him on the run, trying to figure out what to do with the baby.
I think this robot's going to hunt him down for like half the season.
Yeah, I think that we're going to get everyone that we've seen we're going to see him again.
I loved the way they framed this show with old school credits, the intro. It has this melodrama to it. I'm really into it. I'm really completely sold on this. I really needed to get the fuck out of the Skywalker world for a minute. Can I just say that this is the one fucking time that literally exhibited in the show, they actualized the phrase, keep your friends close and keep your droids closer. He literally shoots the droid while he's right next to him. And you didn't even say it.
You're right.
You're right. Now that Rebels is all out on Disney Plus, we should probably try and nip that in the bud pretty quickly.
I already have it. But speaking of things that are coming next, on Friday, and every Friday from now on, we get another episode of The Mandalorian. So, be vigilant, Star Warsers. Don't stop.
Star Warsers?
We're gonna, at least we've planned, now that I have like a home recording kit, to do an episode about each episode of Mandalorian. Yes?
Yep.
I'm going to be gone for the final 2 weeks of December.
How
so I'm going to
delicious.
miss the finale. I'm missing the finale of The Mandalorian, and I'm missing episode 9.
How delicious.
Sucks for you, man.
But
you guys will carry the torch.
Yeah, we have a plan. Don't worry, guys. You're still gonna get me to. I'm still gonna yell at Davis. The Mandalorian, the most exciting thing in Star Wars that's happened in a while.
I agree.
This is something that is made for me finally in Star Wars, and I'm very excited about it.
This feels like the vibe, also a little bit of Solo, but without having to also, like we said, be tied to.
Yeah, and I think because it's
to all the other nonsense.
Because it's cheaper.
Like there wasn't a stormtrooper with headphones listening to the Imperial March. That's how you ruin Star Wars. When you do stuff like that. So I'm glad things like that isn't happening. Okay, well that's it for us. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back with another episode this weekend. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.
And remember, keep your friends close and your droids closer, just in the off chance that they're about to ice a 50-year-old Baby Yoda, so you can ice him first.
You can ice him first. Ice your droids down.
Keep your friends close and ice those filthy droids.
Yep.
Where's the payoff? Bring the strippers and booze. We do occasionally talk about video games. Bring the strippers and booze. Not enough time for video games. Bring the strippers and booze.
Oh, thank God, I don't need pants now.
Hey, JC, what are you doing? Not much. Making a fortune.
It's a professional broadcast.
Yeah, now sing music.
It's a professional broadcast.
Bring the strippers and booze.
It's a professional broadcast.
I'm here to ask and answer one simple question.
It's a professional broadcast.
You got